You are about to enter a space of ultimate football knowledge from four guys with little to no actual football experience, except for armchair quarterbacking. Brace yourself for passion and knowledge like you have never seen. Welcome to the Football is King podcast. All right, hello, and welcome in. Hopefully, you just heard that. We're trying something new. We are invested, y'all, financially invested into the podcast because we are on
Bought a
Zoom.
studio. We bought a studio.
Yeah, we bought a studio. Hopefully you're seeing three of our beautiful faces right now. Shane is going to be MIA this week. But yeah, just hopefully you can see all of us because that's the whole reason. One of the reasons why we wanted to do this is because for all of our people who are YouTube watchers slash listeners, sometimes we also make gestures and things, and we wanted you to see all of us at the same time. And for those that are listening on Spotify, I don't know if you actually exist because I checked the audience and it seems like it's just me every week. But if you're listening on Spotify, we're happy to have you as well. I believe Spotify actually lets you watch the video version as well now too.
I think so.
That's pretty cool. All right. If you're here, you are here for listening about college football. Hence why I'm at Kyle Field right now. I'm at home. It's great. I love my virtual background. It's fun times. I did not steal it from the internet illegally. And it is probably going to be one of our shorter podcasts on college football because this week freaking sucked. The games were awful to watch. Unless you really wanted to get into the nitty-gritty watching, I don't know, BYU or some team like that play some nobody team. And maybe they had a close game. I have no clue. But if you were looking for the headliner games to be out there, there was maybe two or three that were good out of top 25 teams. And and some of those, sorry, they might have been close, but they actually were ugly games. Looking at you, Georgia.
Yeah, we'll call that an ugly game.
Yeah, it was a close game, Georgia, Kentucky.
It was good. It was entertaining.
Nah, I don't even know if it was entertaining. It was a pretty rough watch most of the time.
I thought it was entertaining just because. But that's when every other game is a 40-plus point game.
Yeah, I'm fine with watching good defense, but that game was more about bad offense, and so.
Yeah, Georgia has some. Well, I don't know what to make of Georgia.
I don't know. I can say that they are not the number one team.
They have one of those games every year.
That is true. All right, let's talk about the three henchmen at the top because they're the people to focus on the most. And we did have a big shakeup. It was not a close game, but big shakeup in the top of the college football world in the fact that not only did Texas leapfrog Georgia after just a commanding victory over UTSA, which is definitely worth leapfrogging Georgia for. But also, did they make him number one just because Arch is quarterback now?
I think so.
He's the dude.
Well, I don't know. If you're watching that game, if he was playing a real football team and didn't just have guys with blown coverages, Arch did not look great.
I thought the same exact thing. He had three big plays, right?
His numbers looked great.
Because he had three humongous plays. He had, what, was it one long run and two
long run and then two
67-yard run and two really, really, really nice throws.
No, one of them.
Nice throws. The dudes were running wide open. I could have made those throws.
One of them was
one of those throws was a back shoulder. The wide receiver could not drop it.
Okay. One of those throws was a 60-yard bomb to a guy with no one within 40 yards. One of his touchdowns, which was a long touchdown, was a screen pass to which Isaiah Bond just outran a bunch of high school kids. And then he had the back shoulder. So he had three decent plays, but 2 of them, the receiver did all the work, and he just had to throw it to a guy wide open. The run was awesome.
I agree. I wanted to remind the national media that UTSA literally just lost by 40 points to Texas State about a week ago.
Whoa.
Talking about a good football team here.
Texas State is good.
I agree, but they're still Texas State.
Texas State, some might say, is the new UTSA.
I would agree.
They are the new team that you do not want to play.
It's the coaching staff.
But Arch is going to be fine, but there is no QB controversy. The fact that his Heisman odds jumped the way they did is absolutely insane to me.
My big thing that I took away from this game and this weekend is, as an NFL GM, I understand that Quinn Ewers is the best quarterback in this class, which is not a very good class.
Is he the only quarterback in this class?
You can't draft him.
I don't think so either.
He's never played more than 6 consecutive games in college football. And you think the Carolina Panthers of the world with their offensive line can afford to draft a guy who gets hurt immediately? Like, it's just not possible. He got hurt handing the ball off.
I don't see him being
not a good look.
Yeah, if he'll go top 5 because he's a quarterback and he's the only one. But I don't see that being a thing that works out.
Also, is this going to be the worst Heisman race ever? Like, it's going to be close. It's going to change from week to week, which will be exciting. But not ever, because I'm sure there's been some bad ones. But we got through like a golden age of like huge stats winning the Heisman. The races weren't necessarily close, right? Johnny's Heisman, he was clearly the best player. It wasn't even close. Lamar Jackson put up ridiculous numbers. All of these type of things. We haven't really had a super close race in a while, and we might get that again, but like it's kind of disappointing because I don't really see anyone who is great.
Well, we went from like the Johnnies, the Robert Griffin for that matter.
Yeah.
It was truly like the best player.
Yeah.
Instead of like just the quarterback of the best team.
Yeah.
Now quarterback of the best team.
It's kind of just like NFL MVP.
Yeah. It's like you should just have a quarterback specifically.
But it's just like it's like disappointing because
can't even think of right now who.
The first 2 weeks of the season, I was giving it to the running back from Boise State.
I still think Travis Hunter probably should be up there.
Travis Hunter would be on my podium. But I was just looking. If you're looking at based off just performances off the first 2 weeks of the season, that running back from Boise State definitely was in the lead. But I understand that it was early in the season.
It'll end up being quarterback either Georgia, Texas.
No, if it's Carson Beck, I'm never talking about the Heisman Trophy ever again. Carson Beck sucks.
That's what it's turned into. We don't have a Johnny or a Robert Griffin or.
Preseason Ollie Gordon was up there because if he was going to do the same thing that he did last year as a running back, maybe that was going
to give him 60 carries to punish him.
Yeah.
Austin,
yes, Jonathan.
Backup running back for the Chiefs. Long hair, owns an alligator.
Carson Steele.
Carson
Steele or Stone?
Steele. Carson Steele.
What a
Steele. Did fumble this week in a very bad opportune time.
That's fine. I need a third string running back.
He fumbled after like a 10-yard gain. So it was a good run. He just fumbled at the end.
We'll talk about that later.
Yeah, that's tomorrow's episode, everybody. There will be a different background for the Chiefs.
I'm doing a draft 3 weeks in.
Yeah, Jonathan is doing the work. We were talking about this before we pressed record. Jonathan might get this podcast canceled for doing something that is the worst football crime besides fall weddings.
They shouldn't even do that.
It wasn't my decision.
A fantasy football draft entering week 3 of the NFL season.
It's free money.
Makes me sick.
All I have to do is beat 13 people that don't play fantasy.
That's fair. All right. On Texas, they're good. They are probably currently the best team. We will see if they are still currently the best team in October.
It's a shame that Shane isn't here. This is what actually happened. Shane actually bailed out because he didn't want the receipts pulled when Austin and I tried to explain that Texas is very good.
Texas is very good.
And he said, "Oh no, they're not. They're not elite.
They are elite. Now,
They are elite."
the one thing that I cannot stand about watching Texas football games every weekend is I can't stand Steve Sarkisian. He just
Oh,
looks
yeah.
he looks like a doofus at all times. I don't know if it's the hair or the glasses or
Try-
last year with the weird sweater hoodie combo thing. He just looks like a doofus and it bothers me.
He's recently divorced. He's trying to show off.
He is no, but last year he was not recently divorced and he still looked like a doofus. But yeah,
That's-
Although he does have some sweet sunglasses.
No, he doesn't. He looks like
no, he
a
doesn't. He
like
looks
like a
like an
90
80-year-old
father.
man.
Yeah.
Well, last year he always wore
Those are the worst
Maui-
sunglasses.
Last year he wore the Maui Jims, and those were sick.
No, he looks like he's like a father going to see like he's like a 65-year-old father going to see his 19-year-old son that he had in like a very, very old age.
Yeah, I give everything about Steve Sarkisian's look on the sidelines a 2 thumbs down.
2 thumbs down.
All right, let's talk about Georgia next. The only thing I got out of this game is couldn't they actually win a national championship with this bad of an offense?
This is classic overreaction.
No, but their offense didn't look good week 1 either. Their offense is
It did.
bad.
Second half, it looked good.
But their offense, but okay. But when you play Texas, if you have to play Texas, you can't have a bad half. Texas will score points on you no matter how good your defense is.
Georgia does this though. I'm not reading too much into it.
Sweet, Georgia does this. That they didn't even make the playoffs last year. Like
They were probably the best team in the nation last year, and they did win the national championship the year before, and they did this as well against Missouri.
correct, but Georgia also does this, and sometimes they can't recover, and it only takes that one loss when you play that good team. Last year it was against Bama.
Now it takes 2-3 losses.
No. Georgia's going to make the playoffs. I'm saying it takes that one loss in the playoffs when you actually are playing good teams.
I think still classic overreaction from media.
I didn't even look at the media. I'm looking at with my eyeballs.
I
think Carson Beck sucks.
Haven't they won 47 straight regular season games?
Good for them. I think Carson Beck sucks. Okay, but if you take away these 2 games so far this season, all of them before this were in the pitiful SEC East at like the SEC East weakest moment where Florida has been historically bad.
28.
Like, the SEC East has been horrific compared to their old standard.
Still, I mean, there's conferences that are horrific that still teams lose all the time.
Yeah. Georgia's a good football team. I'm saying, can they win the national championship?
I think ultimately Georgia probably has like Texas has the wide receivers, sure. Probably quarterback. I still think Georgia's going to have the dudes on defense as long as they can stop from going 110 miles an hour on like city street.
That is true. I would put my money on Ohio State more than Georgia right now.
Ohio State is the much bigger question mark to me because they get away with playing nobody for the first 8 weeks of every season. It makes no sense.
I was thinking about that on Saturday. I was like, I've gone 3 weeks without watching a single snap of Ohio State.
Yep. You'll go 8 weeks without seeing a single snap of them because their hardest game in the first 8 weeks. I just looked it up.
Whoa! Put some respect on Marshall this weekend.
Exactly.
The Thundering Herd is coming into Columbus.
I mean, how do they do this every year? When's the last time you saw like a big out of conference Ohio State game?
It's just what
Texas, like in 2000 when AJ Hawk was still playing.
Yeah,
I think they played in Austin that like when AJ Hawk was playing.
They're smart. They understand that they don't need to. They have the pedigree that they don't need to prove themselves. They just need to win the games.
Literally until October 12th, you will not see an Ohio State snap.
Yeah. Ohio State still not giving up a touchdown, and it's very possible that they won't give up a touchdown against Marshall
until October 12th. Michigan State, there's a chance they won't either.
I mean, Michigan State is
Iowa's
pitiful.
offense is back to being Iowa's offense.
Iowa's offense, not ideal.
There's a good chance Oregon might be the first chance to score a touchdown on Ohio State.
And Oregon has struggled to score, so they might not score touchdowns either.
Honestly, I think it's an abomination. Ohio State does this every single year.
Yeah, people like to
Play
complain
somebody.
about the SEC scheduling so many cupcake teams, but Ohio State's is much worse.
I would love to see the last time I played a decent out of conference game.
All right. One of those three teams is going to win the national championship, though. So we'll figure out which one it is in January. There's only one place to go next, and that is it's time to talk about the victorious good old Ags who went into the swamp and absolutely obliterated Florida.
Probably got a coach fired.
Probably did get a coach fired.
I thought it's basically agreed upon that he is getting fired. They're just gathering money.
I saw reports they had the money, and then I saw somebody reporting that they basically told him he's fired, and then nothing ever happened. So I don't know. I think they're going to let him.
But the other thing is, though,
what are you gonna do? Let him coach and he wins another 2 straight games or something?
I'm just saying,
they're gonna win 3 games this year regardless.
As a Florida fan, you had to come into this season knowing that it was a terrible season. Their schedule is harder than anyone's, and it's not close.
Oh yeah. They got screwed.
They still haven't looked good. They should not lose to A&M the way that they lost to us. But
dude, can we just
all the teams they have to play, their over-under was set at 4.5. They knew that this season was going to be a loss.
Bad.
So we have a new starting quarterback, right?
I can't decide. I think so.
We have a new starting quarterback, right?
I think so.
It's hard to judge it. It's hard to judge on one game. Can we at least
see him against Bowling Green? Or
no, here's what I think you do. You say, Connor, you're out against Bowling Green because there's no reason to play him against Bowling Green. And you see what Marcel does in the second game.
Is Connor even healthy enough to play against Bowling Green?
Well, Elko said yesterday they're going to go take him back for more imaging, which to me meant we're about to find out he's out for the season.
Yeah.
Well, if he's out for the season, we don't have to ruin the kid's dream as being the starter. You just, take a back seat again.
If he's out for the season again,
he really is just toast.
He needs to just go start selling insurance.
Yeah, I think that when Elko said that, I started thinking, oh, he's about to be out for a long time.
But I don't want Connor to be out for the season because I do want teams to have to prepare for both quarterbacks against this.
Yeah, and Marcel was
because I am afraid when teams that are better than the Bowling Greens of the world, which we got to be careful against Bowling Green. They've been a tough out this year. I don't know if you've been paying attention to them.
They took Penn State to the wire.
Yeah, they took Penn State to the wire. I'm afraid when the good teams start to plan against Marcel Reed that maybe he's not as good as we saw against Florida. But I loved what I saw against Florida.
I don't even think he had to do it. He really didn't have to do anything.
Oh, but that one juke was so great.
Oh, it was sick.
That one juke, that poor dude, I was just oh, his knees just shattered.
The second half, I think he threw maybe 1 or 2 passes.
Yes, but he looked great in the first half.
No, I agree.
He looked controlled. He looked like he knew the offense and how to progress through his progressions.
He looks like a more natural fit for what Colin Klein's maybe trying to do.
Yeah, maybe.
He looks calm.
Which in the past, Colin Klein's kind of had a guy that can move a little bit, which I think Connor can, but he just looks freaked out there.
Yeah, Connor looks like he has anxiety 24 hours a day.
He also talks like an idiot.
Yeah, Sarah.
Well, he's trying to win the team over, maybe.
When we saw Marcel Reed's interview, Sarah looked at me. She said, "Now, how did he end up with that voice and Connor end up with his voice?" I was
You're right.
I thought also that the defense was great.
Defense, yeah.
The defense is great.
Defense is amazing.
Defense is great. I was really impressed with just the composure of the team playing.
I have a complaint though.
With the rain delay and everything.
With the rain delay and everything,
dude,
and
I was so worried when we went back into the tunnel for the rain delay. I'm sitting at Twin Peaks and I'm sitting there going, "Oh no."
I got scared too. I'm not gonna lie.
I was oh no, what if the momentum just completely we just fall asleep?
Well, because we were
like, no way.
We came out thinking like, oh, great, Marcel Reed's playing. And Marcel Reed came out hot.
Yeah.
We were like, okay. And then
you have one complaint, and I feel like we've said this a million times. Can we stop with the prevent defense, please?
That's just for all teams across everything.
And I don't care who you are.
Look at you, Philadelphia Eagles.
Does not do anything. Besides, they might have to run one extra play to score.
Yeah.
But it's like it doesn't do anything. And
you definitely can't
get a game.
You definitely can't play prevent in college football under 2 minutes, because if they throw it over the middle of the field, the clock stops again. Like,
yeah,
I get it in professional football. If you guard the sidelines and they got no timeouts and make them throw it over the middle, I get it. Depending on how much time is left. In college football, it never makes sense.
No.
Because they could throw a post over the middle for 30 yards and then the clock stops. And if they're fast enough, like, they're going to do damage.
I would rather risk a dude going deep and beating you in one play than just giving it up in 4 plays.
I mean, let's still run cover 2 man. Let's still have 2 deep safeties. Let's not go crazy.
But we can play up on the dude and not just give up 30 yards of play every time.
Yeah, and we, maybe even hurry the quarterback up a little bit too.
That'd be crazy.
Maybe bring 5 in pressure.
Yeah, at the end of the game, I was just begging for it to end because I was like, we're going to blow this because we're just playing dumb now.
I think I did text the group and was like, are we really about to blow this game that we have no reason to lose? I thought the other things that I got from our game this weekend, I like our running backs. I do.
Yeah.
I like our running backs. Running back, and that's without my favorite of our running backs. I loved Reuben Owens, and I'm sad that he's no longer able to play. But I love the guys. The next man up. That is what the 12th man is all about. For those who don't know, next man up mentality. E. King Gill.
They pretty much dominated Florida.
Yeah, it was great.
It was the 99-yard drive where we didn't throw the ball once. That is a demoralizing thing right there.
Yep, it is the most fun I've had watching an A&M game in a bit.
Yeah, I like. So, do y'all think we have a new starting quarterback?
I think we have a new starting quarterback.
I think we should have a new starting quarterback, but I do want to.
You can. I don't know. I think it's kind of like the Mark Stoops thing. If you put Connor in, the fans are going to go berserk.
I think the locker room's
going. The locker room will go berserk. I don't care about the fans. I care about the locker room.
Even Lucci, Billy Lucci was talking about, the team just seemed like they gathered around. Damn, I just went blank. Marcel. Where Connor just kind of looked out of place a lot of the time.
Yeah. Obviously, if he does start against Bowling Green and just really struggles against a Bowling Green team that we should beat, we are currently 23-point favorites, then I'll have cause for concern before we get into legitimate SEC play. But if he starts against Bowling Green and the offense looks competent for the whole game, I don't know. I would be definitely on team. Keep him going. It's the same thing with the Justin Fields, Russell Wilson debate. Everyone is like, once Russell is healthy, you got to go back to him. No, you're winning the games.
Yeah.
If you start to lose, then sure, you can make the switch.
I think Elko has the easy cop out this week where you just say, Connor, you're sitting for another week. Because obviously the injury is worse than we thought.
Yeah.
Start Marcel, and if the offense looks good again, then you start thinking, okay, we might have a new quarterback here. Here's what I don't want to do, and no team should ever do this. Do the two QB system.
If you got 2 QBs,
idea in history, you got no QBs.
If you got 2 QBs, you got no QBs. And we're at a great time right now to build Marcel Reed's confidence in the offense and just get him ready for the hard part of the schedule, because Well, I guess Arkansas is technically not a home game. It's probably at Jerry World.
In Jerry World.
I had to guess.
I think
But like bowling, but I mean, we really don't have to travel that much in the next 3 weeks. We do have Bowling Green, which is a team that we would expect the offense to move the ball. Even if it's just heavy on the run and then he looks good in the play. If it's Kirk Cousins style, heavy on the run, but then Marcel looks good in the passing game out of play action, I will take that. That's a great offense.
I think against Bowling Green, you kind of let him throw.
I want to establish the run early. I want to make the throws easier for him by establishing the run first. To build that confidence for another game. I
agree.
I want Bowling Green to be nothing but building confidence before we go to a tougher matchup against Arkansas, where maybe we do struggle to run and now he has to throw.
Yeah. I'm afraid Elko's going to overthink it and just throw Wigman back in there.
Probably. But if we can get the offense clicking through these two games, am I too optimistic to say that we could maybe hang with Mizzou?
I think
at home.
I think we can.
I think our defense play against Boston College. I didn't walk away overly impressed.
I think our defense.
I think our offense. I think our offensive line and run game can do fits to Mizzou if our defense can hold on.
That's what Boston College did. Boston College just ran over them.
Yeah, and I mean,
same thing they did.
Castellanos or Castellanos, I don't know how to say his last freaking name. Played decent, and then in the second half made two huge mistakes, but he did kind of torture Mizzou's defense with his legs, and that would be great if.
And Castellanos is Marcel Reed light.
Yeah, Castellanos did throw two bad picks in that second half, which is kind of what turned that game. But Boston College has a great defense. Obviously, our defense is better than theirs. So, like, if we could cause their offense fits, I really think that we could get a top 10 win
at home.
At home, which that's the part that makes me think that we can't get a top 10 win because it's at home.
Jonathan, we will be so back. I will be so back in because the rest of our schedule, who we playing?
Well, I'm saying, so let's say we get through Mizzou.
We just got to be really high up there when we play Texas.
The rest of those games, in theory, the road games are not bad. Auburn, South Carolina, and Mississippi State. Auburn sucks and Mississippi State sucks. At Mississippi State always terrifies me, even no matter how bad they are. But this year they are like
Toledo
worse than normal.
Toledo took them to the woodshed.
Yeah, but LSU is at home this year.
And LSU,
they haven't blown me away.
I think our defense will be fine with LSU.
And even if we lose to Texas, that would only put us at 2 losses and would be in the playoffs. Sorry, we should be in the playoffs in that scenario.
I love college football because this is how it is, and we will lose to Bowling Green.
Oh, yeah, we're going to lose to Bowling Green. No.
Season's over.
I guarantee you, I can see it. We're going to go Bowling Green, win, go into Jerry World, Arkansas, win, huge upset against Mizzou at home, and we're going to party all week because we're playing at Mississippi State, and we just can't win in Starkville. It's just not possible. It just never happens.
And it'll probably be an 11 a.m. game.
11 a.m. game. It's going to be like we're going to get like 6 injuries.
Mississippi State will throw in like some freshman white dude.
Yeah.
That just sudden runs for 250 yards and throws for about 650.
I said they'll bench their quarterback the week before, and some kid will come in and be a superstar. Yeah. So, and then our season will be over. We will have lost to 2 of the worst teams in Notre Dame and Mississippi State.
I will say, after watching Marcel Reed, after week 1, we were talking about O'Connor being a little fat. Marcel Reed looks cool out there.
He's a little thin.
But he looks cool out there.
Like 160 pounds.
He does look cool. I am afraid.
Johnson vibes.
I'm afraid that he could get snapped in half. If we ever did play at Georgia, I will be praying for him on every snap.
There was a couple hits where I was like, I hope he gets up.
That's true.
Don't get hit.
Oh, but he's so shifty. It's fun to watch.
Yeah, it's fun to watch. I had a blast watching him play.
All right. Any other things? Any other things on A&M?
What was that?
I said, does anyone have any other thoughts on the A&M game?
Nah, that was the most fun I've had to watch them in a while. That we actually had a quarterback that was kind of exciting to watch.
Let's hope that it continues against Bowling Green and he continues to play. Let's talk about the other good games or ish of the weekend. LSU South Carolina was a banger.
Can we talk about the officiating? What in the so South Carolina should have won that game, seemingly.
Yeah.
The 6, that was they called it roughing the passer.
Okay, I will say this. We are so many years into the blindside block. Just don't make forcible contact. Just stand there.
All he did was push him over. He didn't even hit him. He just pushed him. I thought when I saw it initially, I thought, he must have killed him.
Okay, but that's the thing.
Just pushed him with 2 hands.
That's the thing, though. The referee is watching the ball carrier. So all he sees out of his peripheral is, he pushes him and the quarterback goes flying. So it looks bad.
But it really wasn't bad at all.
Correct, but you're not allowed to replay the penalty. So you totally understand why the ref throws the flag, because in real time, as you're sprinting backwards down the sideline, you just see defensive linemen and then quarterback fly. So you assume it's a blindside block.
The problem I have with it, though, is that I know that the coaches are telling that kid, I have a feeling, because I feel like I've heard this before, on interception, go to the quarterback.
But you shouldn't anymore. It should be the opposite.
They got to stop doing it.
It's been 3 or 4 years now where you should be told anytime
away from the quarterback.
When we're running the opposite direction, if it's a punt return or an interception, I want you to go get in their way and just go like basketball picket for all I care. Just go stand in their way.
The other problem I have with it, though, is they called it a roughing the passer.
Yeah, I just think the SEC
roughing the passer, the dude was already running down the field. He passed the ball 10 seconds ago.
Yeah, that I disagree with.
Well, like Mike Gundy said, maybe we should have a rule book for all of the leagues, not just a few of the conferences.
But no, that rule, the blindside block is across all of college football.
No, I know, but he's saying essentially we need a college
maybe a uniform set of rules.
We need a uniform commissioner where the refs are calling the same things. The SEC refs aren't reading one rule book, and the ACC
they definitely.
Or maybe there shouldn't be SEC refs and ACC refs.
Yeah, there should just be one organization of referees, and then they just get distributed.
Need a college commissioner to oversee all of it, and then just have all college refs.
Regardless,
you know
make them full time too.
I will gladly volunteer to be commissioner of college referees. For those who know me, I love the rule book of football. I love to read it. I will read it. And life. I love rules. Rules are great. And I would love to be the stickler on all the rules.
Or let's do common sense refereeing.
That too. I love common sense and logic.
Let's have a guy in the clouds, right? The NFL started to do it because I saw it happen last night.
Nah, F the NFL things. I'm done with that.
No. Last night it was effective on one of those first down or fourth downs. It took 2 seconds, and the ref just said, it was 4th down or whatever.
Yeah, that's great. Guess what? If you're going to do that, it needs to be in every single game so that
I agree.
The league is fair.
That's
Stop
what I'm advocating
cherry
for.
picking.
That's what I'm advocating for. College, we need to have a guy that sits in the press box that has a little TV.
There's too many games.
And said,
a lot of games.
Just have one guy, just an extra referee. Just have one guy in the press box of the game.
But it all comes from New York so that they can't be bought off.
But then this guy can say, yo, ref, he literally just pushed him with 2 hands. He didn't even hit him.
Yeah.
We don't need to call that penalty on that. And the ref can say, all right, we're waving that off.
I am team, we need a uniform set of referees. I am team common sense referees. I am team, please, NCAA, pay me millions of dollars to be in charge of this as well. Get at me. But I don't. You
don't even have to leave the state of Texas. I'm right down the road. I'll do it.
Yeah, well, I don't know if you're the best person. to
No, I'll do it.
All your rules are going to just be to, but we also,
Air Bryant, the Junction Boys.
The other thing I hate is the common sense of targeting in college football. I hate targeting.
Okay, let's talk about that.
Yeah.
Targeting in the butt?
The poor Florida kid got targeting in the butt.
A lot of funny tweets were being fired off about that play. How is that? I don't even get how we even got to the point that was targeting. There was two of them. Yeah. There was that one, and then there was one on us, right?
Yeah.
That, I don't even remember what happened, but it was something crazy too, where it was like, that's obviously targeting based on the butt targeting.
Yeah.
But neither of those should be targeting.
Correct.
And certainly, neither of those should be an ejection.
For sure. We as this is my campaign, as NCAA official referee commissioner, I will change targeting in general, because targeting is a dumb penalty. We can go back to just how the NFL does it in unnecessary roughness on certain instances, and we will fix the suspension policy that happens in college football, which is the dumbest thing ever. Yeah. But yeah, targeting just like, it just, I don't know, it just makes no sense. And the fact that it's not called on the field, and then some dude from New York or wherever it is phones down and says, we need to review this. It's
especially when nobody even looked at that play and was like, oh, that was targeting.
Yeah, no.
Not a single soul in America looked at that play and thought, oh shoot, they missed it.
It's bad. The play last season, I forget who the teams were, where the kid literally launched himself with his head. That's targeting. Yeah. That's a play we need to get rid of football. But most of the ones they call targeting, and it's the same thing in the NFL, with the NFL like rules commissions or whatever that committee is that goes and fines players after the game because they watch every single play. Yeah. And that's the shadiest thing that has ever existed.
It's like golf used to let like TV viewers call in on rules violations.
Yeah.
Like, you have the ability to slow it down and like go frame by frame. If you have to do that, it's immediately good.
I mean, I feel so bad for it. Well, I don't really feel that bad for NFL running backs because they make all of the money. But just like learning that you get fined $25,000 that week because you lowered your head 5 times, and they charged you $5,000 for each, and it wasn't called a penalty on the field, is just like the dumbest thing ever.
Should never happen. But the targeting rule's got to be fixed.
Targeting rule needs to be fixed.
Just get rid of it altogether.
Right. No, you can have it exist, but it needs to have some. We need to have some common sense interjected in sports.
It needs to be called unnecessary roughness. It needs to just be. Why does the NCAA have to have different names for the same thing that is in the NFL? Why do we need the 2-minute timeout? Why do we need targeting instead of unnecessary roughness? Just like look at the play and just be like, hey, was that person trying to intentionally kill somebody? Maybe let's.
Well, also,
out of here.
Yeah, the crown of the helmet thing needs to be eliminated because the crown of the helmet, like, I get you're trying to protect the defender, but he hit him in the backside. Like, he wasn't trying to kill the dude.
Or, like, the helmet-to-helmet contact. I'm sorry. If the guy's helmet is at my waist and I'm trying to tackle him, the only way that I'm going to risk that my helmet hits his helmet. Now,
you have to take a helmet to the chest.
Yeah, if it's a quarterback who is 6'6", who is standing straight up, and your helmet hits his helmet, then that's a penalty. But when it's the Maurice Jones-Drew sized running back running through the hole, who's also ducking his head, and you're trying to get your pad level lower than his, maybe we don't eject kids.
Yeah, it's crazy.
All right, that was a huge tangent based off of LSU versus South Carolina. But that was a great game.
Well, the officiating was like spectacularly bad this week.
Yeah.
It was, but nothing screamed more South Carolina football than that game right there. The crowd was nuts. The game was back and forth. It started off with really, really good defense through both teams. The offenses got going towards the end, and it was just a great game.
The only struggle for South Carolina is like your guy Sellers. First of all, he ran out there without rec specs on. Shocking. Needed the rec specs. Then he gets hurt.
Yeah.
And then you see not who you want to see. You see Robbie Ashford run out there, and you're like,
Robbie
screwed. That dude sucked for Auburn for many years. Why South Carolina would want him, I have no earthly idea. He's another
a great locker room guy, I'm sure.
He
great
must
locker
be,
room guy.
But you got to have a better quarterback. When you figure out the dude can't throw the ball, you got to have another quarterback that can throw the ball on the team.
That's true.
Because Robbie Ashford has proven for 5 years now that he can't throw the ball.
That is fair. Don't worry, though, South Carolina fans. You get a solid bounce back game this weekend against Akron. So good for you.
Well, after Ohio State killed him, now South Carolina gets to kill him.
Akron won this weekend.
Who'd they play?
They played Colgate.
Oh.
I was having a horrific Saturday in the gambling streets, but I got my Akron Zips. Is that what they're called?
Yep, Zips.
Akron Zips covered against Colgate. They beat the toothpaste. So that got me back on a nice winning streak, and then I went horrific again on Sunday, and then Monday Night Football hit a nice parlay to get back to even for the week. So that was my gambling weekend this weekend. Still trying to figure it out. Still trying to figure out what's the best sports gambling technique.
There's no good ones.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna figure it out eventually. All right, we'll fly through.
He's 80, but
we'll fly through some of the other. I do know the answer is I gamble on soccer, and Vegas doesn't know soccer, and it's great.
There you
go. Soccer. If I gamble on a soccer game, it will be a draw no matter what. And I refuse to bet a draw.
If I gamble on a soccer game, it's a random guess because I have no idea what's going on.
Also, as an Everton fan, it's very simple. Choose Everton to lose.
Choose Everton to score first, though.
Yeah, they will score first. They
won't score first. They might score twice.
I will just always say West Ham.
They lost. Right now, they lost in the Caribou Cup today again.
Yeah, they did to Southampton. That's a bummer because Southampton is the worst team in the league. Yeah. It is unfortunate that you draw a Premier League team in your first cup round. That should be illegal with the way that goes, but that's a whole other topip.
Sounds fake.
That people don't care about. I will say also, if you're betting Everton games at the moment, bet the over because they are scoring and
they're going to score. Fun. But also, our dude Pickford is going to give up about 8 goals.
Yeah. Oh, but John Durant's goal was incredible.
Sick. It was sick.
All right, let's talk about some other good teams. Bama beat the tail off of Wisconsin.
That game, they're one of the winners of the weekend, I think.
Okay, but that game actually looked like it was going to be a good game until Van Dyke got hurt.
Yeah, but that was in the first quarter, right?
It was in the first quarter, but Wisconsin actually was moving the ball. And then when their backup came in and he was terrible, it was like, all right, this game's over.
There's a lot of college quarterbacks that can't throw.
There is a lot of college quarterbacks that can't. There's actually a couple of NFL quarterbacks that can't throw.
Yeah, that's true. You're right.
I
think Alabama, the important thing about Alabama is that's what Nick Saban would have done, and they did it with Kalen DeVore. So
Alabama is starting to grow on me.
Yeah, they look pretty good.
I think they're good.
They still haven't played a good enough team yet, though.
Agreed. I don't know that anyone has. Well, they're about to play a good enough team in 2 weeks, so
yeah, that game. That game is going to be interesting. All right. Ole Miss also. I don't even remember who they beat the socks off of, but they beat the socks off somebody.
So bad that they beat them so bad. Wake Forest canceled their next year's game. They paid to not play them again.
That's awesome.
That is awesome.
It wasn't even that bad. It wasn't even that bad. It was 40-6.
They gave Ole Miss $1 million and said, "We never want to play you again."
That's crazy.
Have a good day.
I think that happened before the game, and then Lane Kiffin got mad.
Oh.
And he was like, "I'm about to pin it on you here."
No, it was only 40-6, so it really wasn't that bad.
Well, they were weren't they up like 30-something to? Was it 30-something to 0 at halftime?
It was, and then
if it was 23-3 at halftime.
Okay.
Well, I think
23-6 at halftime. But Wake Forest scored 0 points in the fourth quarter. I will say this is a weird Ole Miss team in the fact that everyone talked about their offense going into the year. Their defense is legit.
Yeah. Walter Nolan is a beast.
Walter Nolan, dude.
But their jerseys are terrible.
Agreed. They look like a high school team. Ole Miss has perfected like the coach, like NIL situation.
Yeah, they are
these big guys.
Okay, I describe Ole Miss. They're my douchebag team of the year.
Oh yeah,
I hate everyone on that team. I hate the coach. I hate the quarterback. I hate the players. Like, they are the douchebag team of the year.
Most of the kids that go there
of douchebag is Lane Kiffin.
He's gone. I think he's gone.
He's going to Florida.
I kind of think he would too.
He's going to Florida.
People were saying that Ole Miss is a better job right now than Florida. I disagree wholeheartedly.
Actually, wait. Let's dissect this real quick. You guys can keep talking.
I'd go to Florida.
Look something up.
I would probably go to any city in Florida over Mississippi.
Yeah, I want to be like, have you been to Mississippi? There is absolutely nothing there.
Is it Oxford? That's the name of the town? Oxford, Mississippi?
Went to Oxford.
Dude,
that is
me and Blake went there. You think their jerseys look like high school? Their stadium's a high school stadium.
Well, also
together, it's like different. It's a different stadium in different sections.
I don't want to go to a school. I don't want my football team to be purposely trashing my campus the day of the game.
It's a crappy
place.
So here's the thing.
Me and Jonathan, after the game when we went, tried to go get a bite to eat. Everything's closed.
Everything's closed. It
was like legit. Like,
it's done.
Roger and Allison were like, "Oh yeah, like 8:30 is pretty much it." It's like, what?
You gotta go to a frat house, just like we did in Tuscaloosa.
Dude, yeah, but okay. All right. I'm gonna give you the same spill.
They're not gonna give you any food, but they'll give you lots of drinks.
I'm gonna give you the same spill I gave everyone. Blake and I spent all day at the Grove. And I had been told that the Grove's this amazing place. Everyone's so friendly. Everyone's going to invite you in.
No.
Dude,
no.
We tried talking to people.
No.
Those are the biggest douchebags ever. Unless you're wearing a full suit in 85-degree weather.
Oh, yeah, they weren't.
Yeah.
You're not getting talked to.
The closest thing I've seen to the niceness of College Station was in Tuscaloosa. We had some real. Okay, well, I didn't go to Auburn, so that's.
I loved Auburn,
but I mean, Alabama was a beautiful campus, and the people were super nice, and they would give us beer and food and stuff, even though we were in A&M colors. They also knew that they were going to whoop our butts, so that might have had a part to do with it. But I love Tuscaloosa; it was great.
Auburn's by far my favorite.
Auburn's pretty similar to A&M, I feel like.
I'll have to add it to my list of places.
Entire campus is like a tailgate party. It's awesome.
All right, let's go to
beautiful campus.
Let's go to some other games. I mean, most of those campuses in the SEC
are gorgeous.
Gorgeous because they're just big open spaces with trees. College Station is not one of them. College Station is an ugly campus.
Ole Miss was gorgeous.
Yeah, before they trashed it.
Pat McAfee talking about College Station was the funniest thing because he was like, they have the perfect setup. He was like, him and Boston Connor were like, that place was awesome. Like, it was beautiful. And I'm like, y'all clearly went to one part of campus.
Yeah, they went to the quad. The quad is gorgeous. It's great.
And that whole, I haven't been to it, but that whole Aggie Park thing looked super nice on TV.
Yeah, Aggie Park looks great.
New Aggie Park.
And Academic Plaza, they walked to Northgate. So I was like, they walked through Academic Plaza. I'm like, oh, this is nice.
Blake, you didn't donate money to Aggie Park?
If they called me and asked for money, which they have in the past, I would literally be like, y'all can kick rocks.
I guarantee you that they did not go by the chemistry building or the engineering building.
Or what was it, Blocker?
Blocker? Yeah, they didn't go to buy Blocker or Heldenfels or the Commons that's always under construction because all of that would have made them cry.
That was like architecture there.
Just like that, it made me cry. But if they went to the H2O fountain, they would have cried tears of joy because that's the most beautiful place on planet Earth right there.
Lord, I have a hard time remembering where's that at.
It's just right by the chemistry building, but you got to go up onto the roof of the chemistry building because not only is it a water fountain, but it's shaped like an H2O molecule. Amazing.
I feel like I remember hearing H2O fountain, but I cannot put a thing.
That is the nerdiest thing I've ever heard in my life.
It's my favorite place on campus for sure.
Something tells me while Pat McAfee's like zooted, he's not like, well, let me go see if it looks like H2O molecule.
Pat McAfee was in Foundies. I guarantee you, Pat McAfee was in Foundies all night. That's where he was.
He said him and Johnny Manziel and his guys, they had rented out one of the bars just so they could sit and talk and have a beer.
Oh, I did forget that Johnny Manziel has a bar there, so maybe
He
he
has
was
a
at
bar.
Well,
Johnny's
they couldn't
bar.
even get in there. They couldn't get in there. They told one of the bars like, "Hey, we'll give you whatever you want if you let us just have a table for an hour." Oh, it was with Shane Gillis. They just want to talk to Shane Gillis for like an hour.
Oh,
Nice. All right, let's
I
talk
need to
about.
release that conversation. We need
Yeah.
that video.
We're gonna just zoom through some of these other games. We already talked about Mizzou, Boston College. Okay, the title of this episode, and it's not the best podcasting work by me, getting into this 50 minutes into the podcast. But which of these two teams is more likely to win the national championship? The Miami Hurricanes or the Tennessee Volunteers?
Tennessee Volunteers.
All right, I thought that was going to be closer than it was.
I think Miami's slightly fraudulent.
Yeah, I think Tennessee's good.
I think Tennessee's really good.
I do think
Miami-
Tennessee is very good.
We were all shocked week 1 when Miami walked into the swamp and like killed Florida. Well, Florida might be one
Bad.
of the worst teams.
They
They're
may
up
be bad.
So that victory, I hate the transitive property.
I do like Cam Ward though, so like it's just like one of those.
But I think Nico's probably better than Cam Ward is.
Yeah,
We've seen Cam Ward. He turns the ball over a lot.
that's
Well,
true.
Austin, that is an extremely long title for a podcast.
It's not gonna be what it is, but I just meant I'm gonna have the I have already made the YouTube thumbnail for this week, and the YouTube thumbnail has Miami and Tennessee.
I was thinking we could just use Pat McAfee's quote from Game Day. That's a really nice cock. As he holds the South Carolina Rooster.
He threw every joke in the first 2 minutes of that show that he could possibly get out of his mouth.
Unfortunately, I don't think that YouTube will let me post that as the title.
The boys are back, baby.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
All right. The other thing, Nebraska's still good, but they got their first test this weekend. There we go. We'll see how they do.
And I'm still creeped out by the quarterback.
Still creeped out by the quarterback. It's honestly getting worse, but
And he denied it, so that's even worse.
yeah, you got to just live with it. The Nebraska kid, I do love the internet theory that's going around that he transferred to Nebraska because the colors are more like the Chiefs than Georgia. That's
That's
prime internet.
hilarious.
That's prime internet right there. Good job, internet.
They always
Did he
win.
really
The
deny
internet
it,
always
though?
wins.
Yeah, he denied it. He
He
said
denied it.
he like denied it, and then at the end was like, but I mean, he kind of talks like Connor Wigman. But I mean, like Pat, he's winning. So if you're gonna do something, do it like a winner does it, or something like that. Like, so you know exactly what you're doing.
He says that he wears 15 because of Tebow.
Baloney.
No, like he
His
does.
hair, he had his hair cut since 6th grade, and he didn't know who Pat Mahomes was in 6th grade. And then he said, "And I got a little something different right here." I was like, "What are you talking about, dude?"
Austin, I don't know how you get through classes with all these teenage boys that sound like complete idiots.
Most of them, I mean,
Nah, bro.
first of all, when we were in high school,
bruh.
also sounding like complete idiots.
Come
But
on,
yeah,
yo.
most of them are fine. But yeah, we do say maybe bruh a little too much, or like
What up, Teach?
as I teach, yeah, they're just like dap me up, and I'm like I'm in the middle of something.
When you're teaching, do they say cap, not cap, or something
Nah,
like that?
Cap's gone. Cap's gone.
Cap's
Shout out
gone? Dang, I just figured out Cap.
Shout out to my boy.
That's
Shout out to my boy Keon today that asked me to dap him up about 25 times.
You
All
say
right.
no, around here we shake hands, son.
You know, I actually tried that for a year of like every day making students shake my hand with eye contact. And it was terrible. It went terrible. I had to stop.
Here's good news. My 2-year-old's officially trained better than high schoolers because I came home for the past month. Every day I got home, I shook my son's hand. And I'd tell him, "Hi, nice to meet you." And he will shake your hand now. And when you say, "What's your name?" he'll say, "My Newt."
Nice. Hey, you know what? He's getting there.
Hey, he knows how to shake a hand.
There you go. Well, half the podcast just vanished there for a second, but that's fine. They're back. Let's talk about the bad teams that are fun to talk about. And They're one of our hot topics every week. And if you listen 50 minutes into the podcast, we appreciate you because this is the fun part. Let's talk about the Colorado Buffaloes. I hate Shadur Sanders with a passion.
I hate them all. I hate the whole team.
Not shaking the other team's hand because they talk trash
is crazy.
Is crazy. And then the O-line at the press conference gimmick was the stupidest thing I've ever seen after throwing them under the bus last weekend. And then the national media coming out and saying that this is prime leadership because he supported them. It's like, it's because they won. If they would have lost, he would have thrown them under the bus again.
Exactly.
And they beat like in a decent, like they beat them by 14. It's not like they killed them.
When you watch elite quarterbacks, they're not wishy-washy on whether they won the game or not. They will take the blame and don't blame no one else. And that's part of being a quarterback is you can't blame your O-line and then probably force them to go to the press conference because he realized he looked like a buffoon and stand there.
Deion made him do that for sure.
No, Deion didn't do that. Some other coach made him do that. Deion wouldn't do that. Deion only cares about his son's image.
But I felt Deion probably did that to make his son be like, because his son was sitting there at the press conference. So it's like, oh, they're standing behind Shadur.
And all of them up there were like, F this guy. I hate him.
Dude, they didn't even look happy to be there.
That team will win 4 games again.
Also, can we talk about the fact that there's high schools with better media like setups? Like it's just like
that was the visitors' locker room. Wasn't it?
Oh, it was at Colorado State.
Yeah, it was at Colorado State.
Because I did think the same thing. When they zoomed out, I was like,
bro, why are they doing their press conference in that?
They had 2 dudes holding up a bed sheet behind them.
Yeah, it's a bed sheet, bro.
But that was a visitors' locker room, so I'll give them the benefit of the doubt on that.
Hey, speaking of press conferences, this is a little sidetrack, but did you guys see Mike Gundy at his press conference?
Yeah, we talked about it.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry.
Yeah, we were talking about it.
He's a man. He's 40.
He is 40.
That was like 17 years
ago. 58, 57.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, he's older than you think.
Still got the same haircut, though.
Years.
Same haircut.
He literally has been at Oklahoma State. I looked it up this week. 23 years at Oklahoma State.
You know what? That's got to be nice, though. Like, I do sometimes feel bad for the coaches with all the change for, like, their family and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I don't actually know if he has kids, but if he has kids, like, he got to see his children.
His son plays for him.
Well, I just meant like, but yeah, so he got to see his kids like grow up at like the same schools for like their whole lives, which is so much better for their development, which is great.
Well, and think about it, like 23 years at one school, you're talking like this dude walks into the same barber, the same chicken place, the same I mean, he has a whole community now.
Honestly, he's probably got the sadness of like the guy that used to serve him chicken probably doesn't work there anymore.
Yeah.
Or died.
He's the only coach in America that has any of that.
Yeah.
Look.
Did you see what oh my God, I forgot about this. Did you see like 3 weeks ago, he did a podcast interview for Oklahoma State media at a nursing home?
Yeah.
He did an interview at a nursing home so the old people could watch the interview.
Yeah, it's like Rudy, like Texas A&M does Rudy's night and Mike Gundy does nursing home night.
Yeah,
he did a nursing home night. I was like, bro, he's for the people.
Funny. All the old people were sitting there too around him.
Deion could win 4 games a year at Colorado, and I know he won't be there for 30 years, but in 30 years he could be at Colorado if he wants.
Nah, he's toast. He's gone.
He's going to go.
What are they going to fire him for, though?
He's just going to leave.
Yeah, I think he's gone.
Oh no, I know that. I know he's going to leave on his own stance. But I'm just saying, like, if he just truly wanted to be a college coach, he could win 4 games a year and keep that job.
He has no loyalty to anyone but his kids.
Yeah, he has. He's not done a single thing that makes you think like, oh, I'm going to make this program better.
No, I
put my son and my other fake son in the spotlight. Shiloh is kind of
Shiloh's the 3rd favorite out of those. I think
that Deion's probably beating him behind the scenes as much as he late hits people.
I hope
What
that would
Dion
be.
should do is he should go start or coach some high school program for all the hype boys. That's what he needs.
That's what he used to do.
He should just be his son's agent.
Or
honestly.
that.
He'd probably be a really good agent, honestly.
I mean, unfortunately for Blake, the Cowboys are probably going to draft Shador. So
Yeah, all right, if that happens. Probably in the first round, too.
That would be wild.
that would be
guys just
insane.
gave Dak
After you just paid, I don't think in the first round, but I bet Shador Sanders ends up either on A, the Falcons, or B, the Cowboys, and either of which is going to make Blake sad.
Yeah, the Falcons draft him. They have Kirk Cousins, Michael Penix, and they wasted another first rounder on Shador Sanders. That'd actually be really funny. I'd laugh.
I will take Travis Hunter on my football team, though.
Oh, Travis Hunter, he should go one.
yeah.
Go 1-1.
Well, what side of the ball you put him on?
Defense.
Corner. Yeah, he's a defender.
I mean,
He's
I think he's a
definitely
better
better
defender. But
Dude, I'm
that's
letting
a
him
good
play
ball.
both sides of the ball.
No, not in the NFL. Heck no.
He'll get killed.
Well, what if you just spaced out his snaps? You're not like playing him all the
He's such
time
a
on both
defensive
sides.
player.
He's not that good of a receiver.
He's
Yeah,
a
but
great
he-
player.
What
He's
if you
gonna
just
get-
brought him in the slot every now and then?
dude, Carolina. Just think, Carolina Panthers draft him. They need both sides. Like,
All right,
why
hold
not?
on. How about we'll let him play receiver when we're in the red zone. That's it.
Yeah.
There you go.
Actually, he's not gonna go to Carolina. Dion's not gonna let that happen.
He's not getting drafted number 1 overall.
I mean, I was gonna say if he got drafted number 1 overall, Dion will let him go number 1 overall. That paycheck for being
Yeah.
number 1 overall is worth it.
probably 30-something million this next year.
I draft him number 1 overall.
I think Bryce Young is making $27 million this year.
Yeah. Well, he makes 20. I think he made 27 million up front.
Yeah, I mean it's still
That's your
in 1
signing
year.
bonus.
Yeah, it's tough to feel bad for the guy when he made 27 million. Like,
I can't wait for us to record tomorrow's episode. And
Oh, it's gonna be great. It's gonna be a banger. That's a great transition to let's start wrapping it up.
bets.
The last 2 teams I want to talk about that are in the top 25 that are worth note. I don't think Oklahoma's any good. And we've
fraud.
already talked about at
No.
length that Michigan is pathetically bad. And the fact that Michigan is still ranked in the top 25 after only beating Arkansas State by 10 at home after the season they've had so far proves that the AP is just not worth even looking at.
Well, Michigan, I don't think USC is even a good team, and USC might steamroll them this weekend.
No, I think USC is.
I think USC is a good team.
I think
That running back
USC
they have is a monster.
I think USC is a kind of good team.
That's what I think.
There's
I think
some semblance of a defense there, which they have not had in years.
They are not a top 10 team in my opinion, but they are a kind of good. They're top 15.
Michigan, they will be a top 10 team.
Yes, but the AP means nothing.
I agree.
Also, if the college football playoff ranks Michigan in the top 25 at the end of the school year, ban the college football playoff. It's over.
yeah. That team is abysmally bad.
Tell Condoleezza Rice that she's got to go home.
I'm still wondering what dirt she's got on the college football folks, because it's crazy that she's always involved in the college football thing. What is
Actually, I don't know. Is she still involved in it? I have no clue, but
probably
she was one time.
She'll be
Just
she'll be
the
football
fact
coach.
that Condoleezza Rice was a part of it once is a
She'll be
problem.
the head coach of Cleveland Browns for too long. Remember, they were already planning on hiring her a couple years ago.
If she wasn't even a part of it, but made the short list to be a part of it, like I know she was a part of it, but if she would have even made the short list, that's a crime in itself. Like she shouldn't have even been in consideration.
My problem is not that it's her. Like, you can be a fan of football, but it was like all these like ADs, like former football coaches.
Yeah, everyone was a person who has been in football.
Yeah,
And then
Condoleezza
Condoleezza Rice.
bizarre. It's like she's a fan of football. Okay, I'm a
So am
fan.
I.
Can I join?
Yeah, but I don't want to join unless they're going to give me comfy chairs and good food.
Yep.
We've talked about this at length. All right. Last weekend, we were like, hey, really bad in the sports gambling streets for the Football's King podcast.
We were good.
But y'all know the phrase. If you're not hot, you're due. and boy, were we due this weekend. It was pretty good. Three of the four of us went 2-1 on the weekend. Jonathan did go 1-2, so big loser for the weekend. But you know what? That's what happens when you gamble with Vandy. That's just kind of a natural consequence, if you will.
Vandy,
I
Vandy.
went after Shane, and Shane almost convinced me. Shane basically convinced me.
That's
so I'm blaming
that's
Shane.
another natural consequence right there.
I'm blaming Shane.
But this weekend, we're gonna stay hot. That's the plan. Okay, all positive. It's gonna be great. I'm just gonna read them off, except for Jonathan's because he never sent me his, so he's gonna read his 3 picks off in a second. I am staying all NFL this weekend, so tune in for tomorrow's episode for while we talk about why I picked what I picked. But I'm taking the Falcons plus 3.5 against the Chiefs because the Chiefs can't stop the run, and I liked what the Falcons are doing. I like the cut of the Falcons' jib.
That's got rat written all over it too.
Yeah.
It's also in Atlanta, win by field goal. I don't know. I got the Bears plus 1.5 because I don't think the Colts defense could stop anybody. And I'm taking the Texans minus 2.5 over the Vikings because the Vikings have no offensive weapons. So I'm just trusting them. Even though they beat the Niners this weekend, I'm going Texans. Shane texted in that he is going to be against me, and he's taking the Chiefs minus 3.5. I hope Shane is right.
He took
This
the
is a
rat.
cardinal sin in my book to actually go with the Chiefs, but I feel like
I definitely don't like the hook for the Chiefs.
No, I don't either. But the Falcons, I don't think are a good football team. So
yeah, and we've talked about this also. If you are actually going to be sports gambling, don't bet minus 3.5. Buy the point and take minus 2.5.
Yeah.
But for the purposes of our contest, we don't do that. Shane also is taking the Raiders minus 5.5 against the Panthers. Because the Panthers, I assume.
it has no. This is not a representation on the Raiders.
And Shane is also taking Cal plus 2 against Florida State. I assume because Florida State. Shane is being fade the bad teams, which is actually a pretty good strategy.
Yeah.
That is crazy. Florida State situation. That is crazy.
Yeah, it is nuts. I can't believe we didn't talk about that today. But
they might kill NIL on their own because those are so ticked off after this year.
And then Blake is taking USC minus 5.5 against Michigan. And then sticking with the Harbaugh, he's following Jim Harbaugh to LA, taking the Chargers plus 2 against, I forget who the Chargers play this week, but he's taking them plus 2. And then Blake, I'm against both the Twins this week because he's got the Vikings plus 2.5 against the Texans.
So
it's not a good week. I'm not feeling great now.
Home dog.
With no Justin Jefferson, no Jordan Addison, and no Tyler Hawkinson.
Sam Darnold's slinging the pill.
And Jonathan is going to take somebody.
I'm taking Las Vegas Raiders minus 5.5. Carolina sucks, and we might kill Andy Dalton.
I'm actually kind of glad that Andy Dalton is playing this week because I do think that Bryce Young
we'll talk about it because I think
Bryce Young would have died.
I have a conspiracy,
Okay.
but we'll talk about it. I will take USC minus 5.5 over Michigan. I'm going college here now. I will take – this is a stretch, but I'm really rooting for him this week. Didn't root for him last week, but I will take the Florida Gators minus 6 to Mississippi State.
I thought about that.
Because Mississippi State sucks.
They are that bad.
So bad. That even Florida should win that game.
I'm all with you, and I had this written down at first when I was going through my lines this week. But I was like, I was just like, this is the rat line of all rat lines. Florida should be like 14-point favorites in this game. Yeah. And they're only 6, so I was terrified.
The coach
because then you get that new coach bump.
Yeah, that's true. You get like the the players coach at that point where
Yeah.
oh, let's play for them.
All right.
All right. Good deal.
Well, that is going to do it for us this week not this week. Tune in tomorrow for the professional NFL football episode, which is going to be nuts. It was a wild week. It was upsets galore, and Jonathan has conspiracy theories apparently, so that's going to
I
make
have
it
a
better.
full-fledged conspiracy theory.
So that's going to be great. We are so thankful for all of our listeners out there. Please like, subscribe, share with your people if you will. And remember, make good choices. We'll see you next time.
Dig 'em.